Hey everyone. So today I'm going to be reacting to my friend who's a online fitness coach, and he shared me a video of how he runs his fitness business using AI. And I He's a really smart guy, and I just want to understand all the flows that he's built out. So I'm literally just going to watch this and learn how he uses GPT. I'm pretty new to using the GPT interface. I've been using the AI or the API a lot, and I built like my own GPT, and I was using that like a bootleg version, but theirs is probably better, and I'm just getting to learn how all of that works. So watching my friend who's an online fitness coach using AI is the best way to do it. So let's get into it. Let's just watch. Let's just see what he does. Oops. Let's see. I'll be watching it on 1.5 speed.
Today I'm going to be going over how I engineered my prompts for doing various tasks in my online fitness coaching business. So as you can see here, I have different bookmarks for the different tasks that I need to do.
We're
I
both
don't use
using
all of these,
Loom.
but the main one that I use is scripting. This is the biggest one.
We're both using Loom.
I've used these other ones at various times, but the scripting is the most intensive one. And I've recently been putting this into training a new model here, but I've been building this for a really long time. So I actually started this in a different.
Okay, he's saying he's training the model. Not sure exactly what that means. I don't know how GPT actually does memory. Is it actually fine tuning a model? Is it using RAG? Is it just, yeah. I think it might be using RAG. I'll probably look it up in the middle of this video when I see exactly what he's doing. But Cedric, it looks like your memory is full.
Chat a while ago. But I started off with building a framework for how to script things, going into the pain, problem, solution, vision. I've slowly updated it over time, but this is how I use it. Now that I had the framework, I could just feed it a topic that I wanted to talk about, and then it would give me the structure over here. And then I've used it this way over time. I've also fed it different details about who my target audience is. If I go in here. So I made it create a marketing course for myself, and then I have this whole one here for understanding my target audience. I have this.
So what's this first one?
If I go in here. So I made it create a marketing course for myself, and then I have this whole one here for understanding my target audience. And in this, I answered all of these questions so that ChatGPT has it in its memory.
Nice. So, yeah, he's doing the smart thing of adding as much context as possible to the AI. If you open up GPT for the first time and you just start asking it things, it's been trained on the internet pretty much, and it's just gonna be using general knowledge. So he's trying to teach it specific things so that it just focuses in on like specific parts of its knowledge to help him with his specific use case. So yeah, that's pretty smart. And now when he's asking it stuff later, probably it's gonna be creating content that's more relevant to him in his life and things that are actually he's doing. So nice. He's a smart guy.
Who my client and avatars are. So I did a bunch of market research in here. I defined who my target audience is, interests, hobbies, values, goals, aspirations. All of these details here are in ChatGPT's memory. And then in the scripting prompt, so I've saved each of these conversations so that I can build up off of them and fine tune exactly what it is that I want it to output for me. I've asked it to make this content based off of my avatar. I've had conversations with it about what would be better for the building of the script. And it's just developed over time. Over here, I did a whole.
Okay, now, since we're at the topic, let's ask GPT how its memory works. How does your memory work? Are you actually fine tuning a model, or are you using the memory? Are you using RAG? Okay. My memory works by storing contextual information associated with our conversation. It lets me remember things you tell me across sessions. This isn't achieved by fine tuning a model or dynamically adjusting model weights. So you're just using GPT, a base stock model GPT, and you don't adjust the weights of the model. So, like, if you're thinking about it as a brain, you're just using the brain as is. You're not rewiring the brain. Fine tuning would be like rewiring the brain. So as that heavy for each. Instead, I use a simpler approach that's closer to retrieval augmented generation (RAG), where I keep a separate memory database. Here's how it functions. Storing information. I can save specific details you share with me, like interests, ongoing projects, preferences, in a dedicated memory space. This stored information is separate from the core model itself and it is referenced as a context layer when responding to you. So every time you ask it to store in its memory, it's not changing anything in the model. It's just storing that memory in some database, and it's gonna eventually look it up in the database. Retrieving information. When I need to refer to your saved information, and I query this memory database, retrieving relevant details to help provide more personalized and context aware responses. This allows me to retain key points across conversations without retraining or fine tuning. Forgetfulness. You can always ask me to update or forget specific memory entries. Looks like you might have to do that, Cedric, because you're maxed out on the memory. Uh, but this flexibility lets you to keep the context accurate and manageable. So this approach uses memory retrieval akin to RAG, but it doesn't involve updating the underlying network weights in the model. So yeah, it's using something called RAG, or probably the simplest way that I could describe how it's working is probably like a keyword search. So pretend you're giving it information. This is my target audience, right? And you having a conversation about your target audience. What it does is when you ask it to save, it will store that conversation you had talking about your target audience, and it will store it with like a keyword that you could easily search by target audience. Now, in another chat, when you mention the word keyword audience, it looks up in that database and loads in that data. And now that data is part of context with your other chat. And now that the model has access to the context and your current chat, it could like use all of that context when drafting responses. So you're not really training the weights of the model, but you're just using you're basically allowing data to be retrieved from other places and then pulled into like your current chat. And how it does that behind the hood is like, or like how it figures out who to put in is like their own algorithm that they don't share here. But maybe if I keep prompting this, it'll tell me. But that's quickly explaining like how memory works in ChatGPT. So let's continue on this.
Worksheet on who my avatar is, what their pain points are, some of the language that they use as well, so that in my scripts I can talk about like their spare tire, muffin top, punch, dad bod, and this is all stuff that I learned from doing some market research through different forums and different Facebook groups. I've made it average 45 to 60-second scripts, but I adjusted it to 30 to 45. A lot of this stuff is stuff I did a long time ago.
Nice.
I've also revised the different ways that it does it. Then I started using Notion to plan out my topics that I use. And then when I'm done, I usually send it a screenshot. And over time, using the same chat that it's doing the work for me, I've asked it to add new tasks.
Sorry, I may have to speed this up. Sorry, Cedric.
It's built up into getting more than one hook. Problem, cliffhanger, problem, solution plus vision. Most recently, I've asked it to give multiple solutions and more tangible steps.
Nice. Looks like he's using it to write scripts for him. My friend Cedric makes Instagram videos, so looks like, and YouTube videos. So looks like he's using this to help him generate that.
This is something new that I implemented as well, asking it to start scripts with um, personal experience instead of telling people what to do, so that I can resonate more with people and connect more. Then I asked it for a single prompt that would talk about everything that I've trained it in. And then I started feeding it into this here. Okay, my ChatGPT is being weird. I don't know why it's not working properly, but usually I can go into Edit GPT, and then I'll open the window to edit it, and then I pretty much just put in these different things. Create a single prompt for all the guidelines I've given you that you're now using to generate my scripts. And then this wasn't specific enough. I asked it if I feed this to training a new GPT, which was this construction worker one, will it work? And then it basically talked about context and why it wouldn't work to just do it that way. So nuanced style, consistent language, adaptability. It would learn the rules, but balancing engagement tactics and these subtle variations based on topic or avatar pain points it would struggle with. Then I asked it how to enhance it. And then I asked, can you give me all that I would need to feed it to solve this and be fully prepared? And then basically I was able to put all of this stuff into the training page, which is basically, it just looks like another ChatGPT thing, and it just asks you for specifics. Actually, I'll just make a new one if it works.
Nice. Looks like he's using the GPT's feature. And honestly, I haven't really touched that feature, so I need to explore that.
What the fuck?
You're gonna have to pay. Maybe that's why your memory is maxed out.
What? Okay, I figured out the issue. For some reason, my subscription stopped being active, but I fixed it. Basically, yeah, I just fed everything in here from that one. So I've been basically training just one single chat for a really long time. And then I asked it for different prompts to feed into it. I have this do various different tasks. I ask it for a script and then for some hashtags, specifically 7 hashtags, and then I make sure that it gives it to me in a way that's easy to copy and paste. So I've given it directions over a long period of time on how to do things. And you can see in here when I asked it to make the prompts, it gives those instructions. And then another thing to feed it was examples of how to do it so that it can have all those nuances and different languages or language stuff. And then you can pretty much put, from my experience so far, this is my first time training one of these, you can pretty much put as much as you want into it, and it just keeps on building how to do it. So I kind of like this approach of just training it over a long time. And then once you feel it's pretty good and ready to go, you can plug it in here. And now moving forward, whenever I want to make changes, I'm going to probably ask it in here because it has the full context in here. And then I'll just get it to give me a prompt. But I haven't played around with this section that much yet. But
So what I'm getting from here are you're not actually training the model. You're more creating a database of context that the model will use when drafting responses. So you're not rewiring anything in the brain, but you're giving it a resource, like you're giving it a textbook. And now when you ask it questions, it could read through this textbook and use some of the information as part of this textbook, and that textbook is tailored to you when like crafting responses. Yeah, that's kind of what's happening here.
so far it's been pretty good. So I'll show you an example.
Notion, nice.
So these are the topics for this week.
Cool. It's generating scripts.
So you can see it's applied some of the new stuff, saying when I, rather than typically what I was saying is you're a construction worker who's fat and you're struggling with this. Now it's going to be more like when I used to work 12-hour shifts. The last thing I had time for was sitting down to eat a full meal. The other thing too with the way that I started this off is it learned the way that I talk. I fed it a lot of examples as well. There's still little things to change here and there, but this works pretty.
Nice. That's really good. Like asking GPT, giving GPT a specific role, like he's doing. Like you are here to help me build fitness scripts. That's one way of really optimizing responses from the model, and then also giving the examples. Like if you want them to build you resumes, show them what you think a good resume looks like. Show them what you think a good script looks like, and yeah, it kind of limits GPT's freedom a little bit. But just giving really good, solid examples a lot of the time is really helpful for GPT.
pretty good. And then at the end of it, so here we have all the scripts. Give me the hashtags for each. Give me. And these are for my thumbnails, what I'm going to be writing in there. So I have the whole content creation process in here, pretty much. And this is from training it over months, pretty much. I think, this is my first time building it in here. I think I could probably feed most of the stuff in there, but I think there would be some confusion while building it compared to here. But I still have to play around a little bit more with these features of building a whole model. But that's pretty much how I approached it.
Thank you, Cedric. So yeah, looks like Cedric learned.
And so that I can build up off of.
Looks like Cedric really is leveraging the memory feature, which wasn't really a part of GPT when I first started using it. But yeah, I think we debunked how memory works. So thanks for watching. See ya.